Good evening and welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and we have another victory to talk about. This fantastic run continues. 6 wins out of the last 9 games, 9 games unbeaten. And MK Dons are our latest victims. And we will go into a bit of detail about the game, why we won, how we won, why it was so good. And we will have literally a 30-second preview of Tuesday night's game in the Papa John's Trophy. We have the same lineup as Tuesday. We've got myself, Matt, we've got Mick and Danny with us as well. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all good, mate. How did we enjoy yesterday, Danny? It was a good day, wasn't it?
Well, I've got a bit of a sore head today. But yeah, great, brilliant. Any word in the dictionary that describes happiness, really.
Yeah. Mick, just to... we should go to MK Dons more often. We seem to do quite well there recently, don't we?
Yeah, we do. It's a lovely stadium. It's reasonably straightforward to get to. Yeah, it's too big. Yeah, of course it's too big. But, you know, we should. If we could play them every week, it'd be great. I'm sure their manager would appreciate that as well.
Oh, we'll come on to their manager in a bit. He's not a happy bunny, is he? Very good stuff. So the couple of changes. Well, there was only one change. Icky came in for Wood, was basically the only change. And Hard and Chio started as well because of the injury to Woody and Matic. Harding came to the left side. Chio started on the right side, where he only started on the bench for the Wickham game. And the big talk about him, really, mate. Let's talk about the starting lineup to start with. Vickers started again. Mm-hmm. And again, did anything right. I feel sorry for Victor because he's a good keeper, but you've got to give all the audits and the congratulations to Vickers and say, well done, you've earned your place.
Well, you called it on the last podcast, didn't you? In that you said that Paul Warne's habit is to the man who's got the shirt, it's his to lose. And Vickers has got the shirt and he's not lost it. And he's not done anything even approaching looking like losing it either. So I suspect there might be a spell on the bench for Victor coming up. I'm sure he might start against City's kids on Tuesday, but league time until Vickers does something to give it up or gets injured or whatever, it would appear that he might be number one choice for the moment.
Yeah, I reckon so. Let's talk more into the game. It was a really... I thought the first half, Danny, taking away the goal, I thought it was a pretty good contest. I thought it was a pretty level game, but we stopped them completely from a defensive point of view. They had one opportunity, maybe. We really did stop them in their tracks, really. I thought we were fantastic all game defensively.
Yeah, I think so. I think the first half was a little bit more even than the second one. But with MK, they had a couple of chances at goal. I think they had the shot that they spade wide of the far post, which was, I think, their most dangerous attack of the whole game. And then they had the fella head over as well, but we really limited their chances, which I think is something we've carried over from the Wickham game. Because, I mean, I know it was an atrocious game to watch, but we really limited chances. And then going forwards, it was a complete contrast to the Wickham game where we were on the front foot, we were pressing. And I don't think MK knew how to handle it. I think in the first half, because we hadn't completely moulded our playing style completely into the game, that's why we're a bit more even. But as soon as we found that we could press them and they didn't know how to hack it and get them on the counter-attack, that's when we really took control of the game. And all 3 goals have come from a counter-attack situation, which I don't think I've seen before.
No, that's fair. Mick, there was not only were those chances, Michael Smith hit the bar, and watching it back, it was difficult to see from where, obviously, we're at the other end of the pitch. It was difficult to sort of see, but it was a really, really good effort, and was only an inch or two away from being a beautiful goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Got himself in a good position, and he sort of looped the header backwards, back across the face of goal, and a goalkeeper were beaten, weren't they? Completely beaten all ends up, and they got away with that one. So yeah. To be fair, I thought we were a better team for the whole 90 minutes. They had a few spells where they looked a little bit dangerous, like Danny mentioned there, that one that they shot across the face of goal. But other than that, I don't think they offered a great deal, to be honest.
No, I think we shut them down. They're clearly a very good team, MK Dons. They were the odd moment. I think their only chance on the highlights is that run down the right hand side. Can't remember his name now, but that were a really good bit of play. They clearly got individual players who were very, very good, but we're a better team than them. Let's talk about the first goal. It was from a set piece eventually, Danny, but we didn't just lump it in. They tried to do something different. I suppose they were trying to disrupt their back line a little bit. If you put ball straight in, it's a straight line. If you move it about a bit, then it's going to disrupt their line, and that seems to be what happened. I mean, their manager thinks it were miles offside. Not convinced. But Icky, first goal of the season, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, I don't know what their manager's seen, to be honest, because even Paul Davis mentions in his written article, if you watch the replay back, every single player's onside. Anyway, I suppose his dugout's closer, but and it could be his field of vision or whatever. But it was an interesting routine from Barlaser because normally he does just whip the ball straight into the box, which is effectively like the stereotype you do from a free kick. You know, you've got it in that position where you can get curl on it, get it into the box, and someone lumps an header on it and it goes in. But the interesting routine of playing it short to Wales and then playing it back and then effectively doing the same thing, like you said, it moved their back line about. And it created enough space between the lines, and you know what Barlaser is like, can hit it on a 10p from 40 yards away. Just lumps it in. Inekwe's header is beautiful, if I have to say, because where we were sat, it sort of hung in the air for ages, and it were a weird perspective. It's like he's headed it and it's just stopped, and then it's dipped in. Yeah. But it was just because his header was so far away. His header was about 15 yards away, wasn't it? And it's effectively done the exact same thing that Michael Smith's shot's done, but off his head instead of his right boot. And because it sort of loops over the keeper into the far corner, and obviously he scored a goal. But fair play to Inekwe getting his first goal since Grimsby in pre-season, I think. Yeah,
he don't score many, Icky, to be fair. But first goal season, what's what we need. I mean, in the preview show when we were speaking to Liam from the MK1 podcast, I sort of said that we're not a set piece team, and that's I always, whenever somebody asks me about that, I always say it's a bit of a myth that we're amazing at set pieces. But MK Dons really allowed us to be good at set pieces. That it wasn't good defending. Their manager didn't claim it's offside all they want. It wasn't. It was just bad defending, and the movement. It wasn't the ball in that was the problem that caused the issue. It was the movement. When I mentioned down, they moved backwards and forwards. Their defense didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, what he were moaning about was that the free kick shouldn't have been a free kick because they were offside at the time. Oh, that's what he's moaning about.
Is it really?
Yeah, but I don't. You know, he clearly doesn't understand the offside rule, does he? You know, because unless the player that was actually fouled were offside, it can't have been an offside. So anyway, whatever. No, look. We are a big, strong, physical bully inside. It's official. It's all over papers. It's all over everywhere. It's all over telly. So you know, it's all over MK Dons manager's post-match interview. So it must be true. It's got to be true because everybody keeps telling us. So if you know that that's the case, maybe you should practice defending set pieces. Just a thought, mate. You know what I mean? I'm not a football manager, so I don't know. Maybe that's not the way they go. But if you're playing a team that you think are going to be putting dangerous set pieces into the box, maybe you should have a look at it and think about how you're going to defend against it.
There's a certain team in blue that needs to do that as well.
Yeah. The second goal again comes from a set piece. Dan Barlaser. Now there's contentious issues on this one that Smith. I'm looking it back. Smithy does claim it straight away. Well, if you watch the highlights, Smithy runs off. Everybody else runs to Barlaser because everybody else thinks it went straight in. So Barlaser is saying it's Smith's goal. Is it or isn't it? I mean, I'll give you this. If it is Smith's goal, it moves him on to 47 for the club, which moves him level with Sean Goodwin. Only 2 goals behind Mark Robbins, who was 49 goals. Is the most recent next target we're looking at. Danny, who are you giving it?
I mean, it's one of them things where because Barlaser is a very generous player and he's trying to help out his fellow Geordie, you can see why he said, it's Smith's goal. But I didn't really see it in the initial chaos because you wouldn't do. But looking at the highlights, you see Smith's hand, Freddie's hand, and Wiles's hand all go up at the same time because they're all stood more or less where the ball's dropping in. But we can only really go with what the official people say, and they say it's Barley's goal. And if he has scored direct from a corner, when's the last time that happened at Rotherham United? If anyone knows, please comment on the video and tell us. Do you know, Mick?
Well, I thought I did, but Matt's making me second guess myself now. So I thought Kevin Ellison scored direct from a corner at Don Valley. I'm almost positive he did. In fact, in my head, but I might have dreamt it, he scored twice from a corner, direct from a corner at Don Valley. But I don't know. Somebody who's listening maybe might correct me. I don't know. If you do know, comment and let us know, because I'm not entirely sure. But there's no way Smithy touched that. That went straight in. That's my view.
I think so. I think Barley's just trying to help him out getting Shearer shirt, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's what he said in his interview. He said, "Well, if it helps him towards the Shearer shirt, I'll give it to him."
Yeah. It's one of those goals, but you can't really say anything about it. It's gone straight in. It's a mistake from them. That should never be allowed to happen as a goalkeeper. You've got to have a serious look at yourself in the mirror.
Well, you said that, but how many times has he almost done that already this season? He nearly did it twice against Doncaster in whatever it's called this season trophy. So, he keeps doing it. He keeps getting them in there, and it was always going to happen sooner or later. But yeah, you're right. It's poor defending. But then maybe the goalkeeper will foul. I don't know. Probably been fouled, won't he, or something?
I'm sure. I'm amazed their manager didn't mention anything about that in his interview about fouling keeper. I'm about Rathbone. We'll come on now. Ryan Swales back short, mate. Kevin Hill did score from a corner at Crewe. So it wouldn't have been at Don Valley. That was at Crewe. So he may have scored two. The third goal. It was the game that sealed. It was the goal that sealed the game. We're good to 3-0. But for me, Danny, it's bigger than that. Freddie getting a goal, and bearing in mind Greg can't play next week against Sunderland, it's a huge goal for Freddie. And to be fair, I thought he did really well when he came on.
Yeah, I do. I think he's got that bit about him now where I don't know if it's something Warren said or he's realised that he's not getting on the pitch and he needs to put a shift in. But I've noticed he is doing a lot more running and pressing, and I reckon it's just Warren's game plan, because I've noticed we have started pressing a lot higher up, almost the same level of pressing that Sheffield United did a couple of seasons ago when they blitzed League One. And it's good to see, because it just goes to show we've got the desire to get the ball and get playing, and then like what happened with the third goal, eventually go on and score. But you could see how much the goal meant not only to the fans by the primal screech that occurred when we scored, but also how much it meant to the squad and Freddie, because everyone went to Freddie and embraced him, which it just goes to show there's no egotistical thinking of, I'm starting striker, that means I'm better than you sort of thing. It's just a thing of they want everyone to chip in and everyone to do well. And the first one up to him was Smithy going, well done. But like you say, Grig can't play against Sunderland because it's his parent club. And now Freddie's broken the duck from opening day. So, and we know what Freddie's like. Once he gets one, they start rolling off a little bit, don't they? When he gets a run in the team, which is what happened last time in League One. So, yeah, it's brilliant timing for him. And I think everyone who was sucking the ball towards the goal for Freddie has finally had that relief of, yes, he's got one finally. So, yeah, brilliant stuff from Freddie and did really well.
Yeah, looking at last time in League One, he struggled and then he got 2 against MK Dons and went in to get 5 goals in the next 5 games. He then another bit of a drought and then scored in February to get 5 in the next 6 games. So he is a sort of typical striker, mate. He needs a goal and he needs a confidence boost, and that's the breed of a striker, isn't it, really, I suppose?
It is, and that's the goal on Saturday came from his point of view, from hard work. He got himself in that position by working hard. And I'm absolutely 100% behind what Danny said. He's a different player since he's come in these last couple of games. His work rate has been right up there with everybody else's, and that is fantastic. Because if he does that, if he continues to do that, he will cement himself a place in team. He's going to give Griggy a run for his money, and he's going to score goals. what else do you want? So yeah, it's great to see him putting a shift in. Fantastic.
Yeah. Hats off to the substitutions. Let's talk about the third goal specifically, Danny. That run by Mikael Miller was just absolutely fantastic. Freddie deserves to give part of his goal bonus to Mikael Miller for that, because it was just brilliant, and that's what he can do.
Yeah, and I think now he's really showing why we've signed him, because he is effectively Chio but left-footed. And I said this, I think, in the last podcast. He is showing what Chio showed when we first signed him as well in League One.
Very raw, isn't he? Still.
Yeah, he's still very raw, and his crossing ability needs a bit of work, but he's still got that pace and that skill on the ball, which is what we saw from Chio, and now look where Chio is now. But he started the assist run, if you like, with his first touch of the ball after coming on. Like, talk about impact substitution. He's just come on and gone, right, balls, man, assist done. There you go. Easy as that. So, what can I say? I mean, we see the memes from the IOFC on Twitter about Rotherham win, good substitutions, Rotherham win with bad substitutions. Well, one must be making fantastic substitutions, because we've not lost in, how many games is it now? 9, 10? Your competitions? Yeah.
Well, 10 all your competitions, yeah.
Yeah, so, good substitutions, Rotherham win. I think we need to flip it around now.
Yeah. And the other substitution, which we'll talk about before we move on to other business, Mick, is Adolfin came on for Barlaser with less than 10 minutes left. I imagine it's a little bit frustrating substitution, because he may feel like he can't impact the game, but he did impact the game. He moved around the pitch very well. He cleaned up very well. I imagine he's really frustrated with his non-playing time, but he can't complain. But he's doing when he comes on, he's doing what he needs to do. Forget about the foul he gave away at Wigan that cost us the game. Yeah. Everything else has gone really, really well for him.
He's a quality player, isn't he? He's clearly a quality footballer. There's no doubt about that. And he's just unlucky at the moment that the midfield in front of him, the midfield players in front of him, are undroppable. So yeah, he will get his chance. His chance will come, because there will be injuries, won't there? It's absolutely inevitable, and his chance will come, and then the shirt will be his, won't it? And it's up to somebody else to win that back. So yeah, hopefully he's a patient lad, and if he is, then he will get his chance, because he is a good player. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about the referee. Let's have 5 minutes on the referee before we move on to any. Let's get the bad bit out of the way. We thought we had it bad on Tuesday night. I thought the first 45 minutes of that referee performance, Danny, was one of the worst I've seen in a long time. That first half in particular was absolutely dreadful. And I can't believe their man's got cheek to complain about him. Yeah,
I mean, you can't get much worse than what's his face against Wickham. I think it's best to forget him. Yeah, but like I said, the opening 45 minutes, you were a bit like a lost child in the middle of the pitch somehow. Like, someone let the dad walk on in a refereeing kit, and he's just decided to do it. I mean, he's booked one for throwing a bottle. Now, like, I might be imagining this, but a lot of Premier League managers, when they get rather upset, they throw bottles onto the floor, and nothing happens. I think this happened with Mourinho. Ferguson used to do it quite a bit. So how come he's booked one for throwing a bottle? I mean, if he'd turned around and thrown it into the crowd, then that's a different matter. But it's the fact he's thrown it and nearly broken his own toe whilst doing it. It's not really bookable. And then you've got the whole incident with the back pass, which I've watched the replay back, and it's like, how have you not seen that? It's one of them where, when the vlog eventually goes up, I do get rather upset with him, but it's not quite Bobby Madley on Tuesday. But I'm up in 45 minutes. I think he needs to ask Specsavers for a sponsorship.
Yeah, that back pass, Mick. If anybody's not seen it, if you go follow that, go on the RFC on Twitter. He's put the video out, and it was one of those where I was so sort of not annoyed but frustrated that Wiles didn't get there. It didn't click in my head it were a back pass until about 10 seconds later, where I'm thinking in my head, you know what, it's past that back, hasn't it? And that's possibly what's happened to the referee. He's so focused on Wiles nearly getting there that he's completely forgot to apply the law to the game. That's the only reason he's not given it.
He obviously felt that there were nobody in close proximity to anybody else to give a free kick for, did he? So, he just thought, well, that's it. Nobody's going to fall over here, so we'll just get on with the game. Yeah, I mean, it's incompetent, that, isn't it? It's just incompetence. It was such an obvious back pass. there is no excuse for it. And when he's told about it, the ball's not back in play, and he's been told about it by the players. There's 2 assistants in inverted commas, who obviously also can't have seen it. No, it was useless, absolutely useless, that ref yesterday. Absolute garbage. It was, wasn't he? And it's this the issue I have with it, and I keep going on about it, and I talk about it all the time, don't I? And I'm sorry, it's a difficult job, it's an hard job, and you're going to make mistakes. I fully accept that, and I don't personally. I don't want to criticise people for making mistakes, but on the flip side of that, you've also got to be consistent, and that's the issue with these people. Every single time one of their players had any contact, they went down, and every single time he bought it. Particularly this, where somebody comes up to the back of a player while they're shielding ball, they go down. He buys it every time. When the same thing is done by Smithy, nothing given every time. If you're going to give it once, you've got to give it every time. You shouldn't be giving it any time, because it's not a foul, but they give it. We had a situation at the start of the season where referees were waving challenges like that away. There'd obviously been some sort of memo from the Euros and everything else. Let the game flow. Let's not start giving free kicks for this stupid throwing yourself on floor when somebody comes up behind you. And it were great. It just wasn't happening. They weren't being given. And all of a sudden we've got to October, and obviously that rule's now run out. It's obviously not been voted back in or whatever for November. I don't know what it is, but we just madly started doing it other night, and that clown yesterday carried it on. It was just dire. It was dire. But what can you do?
Yeah. I think that's probably maybe the last time I mentioned Liam Manning, Danny. But Liam Manning final gripe was Ollie Rathbone suggesting that he should have been booked earlier on for numerous fouls. I don't remember any specific. I assume he did, because he's Ollie Rathbone. That's the game he played. But it wasn't like he was consistently breaking the game up or just giving cynical fouls away. He was trying to win the ball every single time. He just might have overstepped the mark. So it's a foul, not a booking. That's one of the things I thought the ref got right.
Yeah, I think that is one of very few criticisms for Ollie Rathbone. I think because he's got, it's a criticism that comes from a positive, really. Because he has that desire to win the ball back, and it's such a burning passion inside him, which is brilliant in a footballer. When you lose the ball and you work your hardest to try and win it back, but he just sort of gets cut out and a little bit too passionate, and then gives a silly foul away. Like, it's not a big criticism, but Liam Manning, he says about Rathbone being booked. I mean, there was the one challenge that he made towards the end of the game. I agree he should have been booked for, because it was a very harsh challenge. But ref's gone and booked Chio.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
it's like we were talking about it on the coach coming home. I mean, we were saying maybe he's booked Chio for kicking the ball away, but then we then but then it's like, if it's Rathbone's, then he should have really booked them both, because it was a yellow card sort of challenge. So it's, but no, I can see where Manning's coming from, because some of his challenges were very hard challenges, but at the same time there was only really one that was a bookable challenge, and he didn't get booked for that because refs booked Chio for something else. It does sound a little bit like sour grapes coming from Liam Manning. Which is if you want to go and have a look at my expert tweets on Paul Davis's article, I've summed it up perfectly. But I think we might see a lot of that this season. I think we'll see managers complaining that the referee didn't do such and such because of our players, but on the reverse side, it's actually our players who've got the quality to understand and the quality to make very good challenges without giving the foul away, like the one Chio made when one of their players was on the break. Is just gone in behind him, nicked ball, and all their fans are up to saying he's pushed him in back. But if you watch the replay, he doesn't. He just sort of gets behind him, sort of soups the ball out from round him, and then carries on. But because their players have gone down really softly and got free kicks, he's done the same, but not gotten it this time. So there might be one positive that's come from the ref. But yeah, to me, it just sounds like sour grapes from Manning. I think we had one earlier in the season where they were a bit upset with how we've played. Can't quite remember who it was. Might have been Cheltenham's manager or something like that.
Can't remember.
Yeah,
but
but
aren't we?
I think we'll see it a little bit more this season. Managers being a bit upset about how good we actually are.
I think he knows what he's talking about, does he, Manning? You listen to his interview, you look at his interview, and I don't think he really understands. I don't think he has he been in football before? Is it his first job in football?
It's one of his first. It's one of his first senior jobs.
Where were he before Asda? I mean, I thought for large, but this is what he's saying.
It's part of the City Group, isn't it?
Right, the bank.
What? Man City Group.
All right. Jeez.
He was at New York something or other, New York City as an academy director,
Right.
and then he was somewhere in Belgium, and then he's come to America. It is his first English professional job.
I'm just quoting from his interview. I thought for large elements where we were in it, we gave them a good level of competition, but we weren't good enough in our attacking or defending.
Yeah.
So you weren't in it then. I mean, it's like so. I mean, there's no else to add to that, really, is there? You can't really add no else to that.
No.
I think it's at the wrong time when Mick said that. Oh, yeah. When he made that
I think he's
joke.
trying to deflect. They were so far behind us. He's got to deflect.
Absolutely.
He can't just come out and although he did give us a little bit of credit by saying we were physical. He's got to deflect away from his team a little bit. So.
Is that credit then? Your big physical side.
Everyone says that, don't they?
Just lazy. So who do we play with? The Cowleys with only managers where we've beaten that didn't come out and say something about our physicality. They were openly positive about us. Everybody else, it's physicality and aggression. All right, whatever.
I think that's why the Cowboys have a high level of respect, though, because they are like Warney. They're very upfront and honest about performances. If they've been thoroughly beaten by one side, they'll hold their hands up and go, yeah, fair enough, but we'll work on our stuff in training. But with Manning, he hasn't done that. Like you say, he's tried to deflect. But then if you listen to Warney's interview, he's very upfront and honest about it. He says, I thought at times we were unplayable, but MK had the spells, which is what you want in a manager, really. I mean, if Ben was here, he'd make comments of they have to be media trained and this, that, and other. But honesty goes a long way. If you say they're a better team, but we'll work on our errors in training, you get more respect from it. And Manning's sort of gone, oh, no, it's not our issue. You know, they should have been booked and their players were offside.
You'll know the answer to this, Danny. You're in the trade, you're in the business. Who trains these people in dealing with media? You know, what are their what's their brief?
I think sometimes it's the media people at the club that do it. Like if they are particularly prone to outbursts in off the records, of honesty in the off the record stuff, they'll go, don't really look that good on our club, that. But unfortunately, at this club, we don't have that. We've got someone who's upfront and honest with Paul Warne, and we've got a media officer who is very well trained in the business and doesn't feel the need to try and sway his way of doing interviews, if that makes sense. Because we're just a more honest club.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Some of the interviews with managers across the board, really, at all levels, are literally pointless. They are literally a completely pointless exercise. And Manning yesterday is a perfect example of that. You know, he's clearly not even competent enough to deliver the lines that he's been given. You know, because he's just tell them that, you know, they were a bit too physical, and, you know, referee didn't give it our way, and, you know, we did well, and, you know, we just weren't quite there. And he's taken it that one step further and decided that he's going to say that we weren't quite there, both in attack and defence, just the two parts that win you the games. You know, I don't know, just useless.
Anyway,
we're spoiled, aren't we?
But we're still going. Yeah, we are spoiled.
Yeah, we're spoiled. We're spoiled with Warney.
Yeah, I suppose we are. Josh Smith, I'm not sure if it's mentioned yet, but the Ogbene, Rathbone and Wild song is top class.
Yes,
it is. That's the first time I've heard it, and it is superb. Hats off to whoever brought that one up. That is an excellent one.
I have a suspicion it may be Charlie Hawkes. I have my suspicions it may be him, because he's somehow got an ear for tunes and lyrics. He did the original Rathbone chant, which was on the which was I can't remember which wall it was in, but he made it up on the bus going down. And so I reckon him and his mates have come up with that. So if it is you, Charlie, fair play to you. It's a very, very good song and will probably stick now.
Yes, let's hope so. Let's go through them players. Chio Mick. I just love him. Everything about him, and he's just got that. He's just got that willingness to run. He's not scared to get fouled. What you can sometimes see from a winger is who are shaped like Chio. Chio's not a big lad, is he? He's quite slight. What you can often see with those type of players is they want to run at a player, but they don't want to get hurt. So they tend to nesh a lot of challenges. There was a moment when we were 3-0 up where there were 3 players in front of him. So he just ran towards them. Then winning the foul. He's got absolutely no fear, and it's just brilliant.
He just ran straight through him, didn't he? I think there were actually 4, and he just ran straight through him, and he almost got through.
Yeah, did.
You know, it was a deliberate take his feet from under him. Otherwise, he would have got through. You know, he's fantastic. He's just so keen and eager. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant to watch. And once his final ball does get consistently good, he is just going to be unstoppable. Well, he's unstoppable now. He's unstoppable because even if that first, even if his ball into the box is not great, it's still causing problems for defenders. Nobody wants to come near him. Nobody dare come near him. And he's winning fouls right, left, and centre for Dan Barlaser to bang into middle. So he's great. He's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he is. And to be fair, Danny, crossing is the easiest thing to work on. You've got to have natural pace. That's part of it. You've got to have bravery, which you can work on, but you are naturally brave or not. Crossing is the easiest thing to work on. He's got time to do that, and he has improved, and he will continue to improve that side of his game.
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw on Twitter there was a bit of criticism towards Chio about how he's not really seen anything special like assist or goal wise from him in the 3 years he's been here. But it's like Chio's not that sort of player. Chio's not the sort of player where he assists all the time like like Barlaser does, or he's not like a goal scoring winger like whoever. Chio's game is different. Chio's game is he's got the ability to keep control of the ball quite close to him and beat players, which actually then drags more players out wide to try and deal with him, which then leaves men free in the box. I mean, there was one point where there were about 4 players going after him, and he's done 3 of them, and then 4th one fouls him. Yeah. It's like if you've got one single player in your team that can occupy 4 players, that's 4 less players who are in the box for if Chio gets a cross away, or it creates more space in the middle. So if Chio drags it back and plays it across, then off they go. But Chio has come on leaps and bounds, like he said himself. His crossing is a lot better. It's less wayward, I've noticed, because sometimes we either overhit or underhit. But his talent lies in beating players and being really quick. And he said in an interview with I think it was the Irish Times that it's his God-given ability to be fast, and then he's got the natural ability as well to beat players. So that's why he's just so dangerous on our right-hand side. And I think unless he's injured or too fatigued, he starts every game easily.
Yeah, I agree. I've still look with Chris. If you look at his stats alone, he's not going to be there. But like I say, it's not all about getting goals and getting assists. It's winning the fouls. It's getting that yardage. It's getting us further up the pitch. Because if it gets us towards the penalty area, somebody else will pick the ball up from him. We'll move forward like that. He doesn't have to assist to improve the team. You get assist. Sometimes the assist to the assist is better than the actual assist itself. Yeah. So, and that's Chio's strength for me. I've got loads of strength. I don't know. I have to defend him, to be honest with you, but there we are.
The one thing that sticks in my mind about what you've just said, Mark, the ability for him to win a ball and then lay it off to somebody, or vice versa as well, is one of the goals that we scored against Solihull. I think it was Chio that brought the ball into the corner, and he's laid it off to Anekwe or the other way around, crossed it in, and then whoever it is got on end of it and scored. And that's something you want in a football. You want someone who can push down the right-hand side and occupy a lot of players, but also has the football in mind to not only assist, potentially, but to create the chance in the first place by winning the free kick or getting the ball in, or being the second assist as well. Then that's Chio all over. He just wants to bring the ball forward and try and help somebody else to score.
Yeah, he does. I love him. We've mentioned Rathbone. We've mentioned Barlaser. Let's give Ben Wiles some more praise, Mick.
Yeah.
Because again, he could have scored. To be critical, he could have had 2 or 3 goals yesterday. He had some really good opportunities, but he was superb again. Again, it's the chill thing. It gets us up the pitch. It gets us into dangerous areas.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was my man of the match, Ben Wiles. I think I put it on Twitter. I think he was just slightly more outstanding than everybody else were, because everybody was. But yeah, I love him to bits. He's such a good player. He's so good on the ball. He's so good off the ball. In fact, he's probably better off the ball than he is on the ball. You know what I mean? Some of the runs that he makes and how he occupies other midfielders and how he occupies defenders and puts the fear of God into him. He is such a good footballer, and he's just getting better and better and better. I do not think for 1 minute that we are going to hang on to him for that much longer. I mean, he'll see this season out, and hopefully, if we get promoted, he'll stay with us. But sooner or later, he's got to play at a higher level. He's got to play. He's a Premiership. He has the potential to be a Premiership player if he's not already. You see some of the dross that's in there already, then I'm absolutely positive he's Premier League quality. So, but then so is Dan Barlaser. The fact that Newcastle saw fit to let him go is just, well.
Thank you, Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce, there you go.
Yeah. Maybe we're doing us a favour, Steve, and you know we're going to get sacked, you know. So, but yeah, no, Ben Wiles, an absolute star. Star.
Yeah, he is. Freddie, I mentioned his goal. It's his 30th goal for the club, Freddie. So again, if he can get some as well runs, he's going to get some good numbers for the club. Even if he leaves soon, they'll still be getting some good numbers. Looking back at the history, I've done a little bit more research, and to the best of what I can find, after 14 games, this is our second best start ever. The only time we've started better than this was in 1954-55, and that season we ended up our highest ever league finish, 3rd in the 2nd tier. So that's the kind of start we're having, you know, comparing to that type of thing. 14 games, 8 clean sheets, 9 unbeaten. I mean, we said last week. It's time to get. Is it time to get carried away? Come on, we're getting carried away.
No, it's not. No.
Come on, we're winning league and everything, aren't we?
It's nowhere near time, but it's definitely got that opportunity. It's all there. Everything is there, isn't it? You know, it's not bad for a fitness coach and a set of bang average League One players, is it? You know what I mean? You know, and a shocking recruitment team and chairman that won't spend any money. You know. All these people seem to have disappeared. I don't know where they've gone. Maybe they've gone back down to Swilsbury to moan about Darren Moore now, or over to Old Trafford to moan about Ollie. They'll be back at some stage, won't they? But there's plenty of other people to moan about at the minute, I suppose. But yeah, listen, we keep saying it, don't we? We keep saying it. This squad is exceptional. There's no doubt about it, and we have probably never had a better chance of getting out of this division legitimately and automatically.
Yeah. John C. Mick, get those feet off the ground.
You keep saying that, John, and eventually let's wait till Christmas and see where we are. If we're 17 points clear by Boxing Day, then I'll start flying a bit.
Yeah. And the good thing is, Danny, I don't think Greg certainly had an off day. That's not a massive criticism. He just had one of those days where he couldn't get into the game. Smith, other than the goal he didn't score, Smith had a little. I'm not going to say Smith have an off day, but he didn't score. But that doesn't matter because he's got 3 other guys who can help him out score. That's one of the strengths of this team. We have got goals everywhere, really, haven't we? And it's just such a strength.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Smith's nearly at 10 in league this season. I mean, if that ball dipped a little bit sooner, it would be, or it might be if they give it to him instead of Barlaser. But it's nice that we've got, well, not nice, that was an injustice, but the fact that we've got Smith, Grigg, Freddie, and then as well as goals in midfield, goals from defence. You know, I think the only ones who need to start scoring now at wingers, and we've got full set, haven't we?
Yeah.
What's the iCard thing you can get in poker? Is it a royal flush?
That's the one.
Yeah, I think if we get the wingers scoring now, we'll just have the royal flush now. But yeah, even when Smith and Grigg have an off day, which isn't a massive off day or anything, and you could say it's just an off day because they didn't really get a definitive chance at goal, if that makes sense. But it could be that they have one mind on next week because Smith's a Newcastle fan and it's Grigg's parent club. So, that could be a little bit of psychology in that. But even when they have an off day, it's not like a major issue. It's like even when on the wingers have a little bit of an off day, it's not a major issue because we've got someone of just equal caliber waiting in the wings, and then they'll take off with it as well. But you speak of off days. I've just found a stat here from the Football League Hub that after conceding 4 goals to Fleetwood 9 games ago, we've only conceded 4 since, and have never conceded more than 1 goal in a game, and that's with 5 clean sheets since Fleetwood. So that might have been our off day, but I tell you what, we've took off since, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we've currently got the joint second best defensive record in the division, and I know you know this is all stupidly hypothetical, but if you take away the Fleetwood game, we have got the best defense in the league. So that just shows how much of an off day that Fleetwood. That's clearly the exception, not the rule, which is what we were all worried about. Because it was so early in the season, you don't know if it is that's what it's going to be like or those things. But it clearly, as you just mentioned them with those stats, that's clearly just one of those things. Well, hopefully it is anyway. It is a defensive unit. Mikiki came in for Woody. There's always a worry with Icky because he has moments. He's not a bad player. He's a very good player, but he does have moments, more moments than Woody. But again, scored his goal. Reggie Harding didn't put a foot wrong defense. I thought they were superb.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot you can say about them, is there really? They were outstanding. That for me is Icky's rightful place in the centre of that 3. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes, and when centre halves make mistakes, that's when they get shown up. They get shown up a lot more than virtually anybody else on pitch. And Woody's made the same sorts of mistakes throughout his career. It's only because he's so experienced and because he's been around for so long that those mistakes are ironed out. And Icky will get to that stage. I know he's not an inexperienced player. That's not what I'm saying. But that position, out of all of them on the pitch, out of every single position within the team, that's the one that needs the old head. This is why you see even at top level, those central defenders, those really good and great central defenders, are knocking on in years because there's so much to learn in that position. But I thought all 3 of them were outstanding. Wes Harding again. I mean, mate, it's a right back. The man is a right back. Let's not lose sight of the fact that is his position. He's not a central defender. He's not a left-sided central defender, and he ain't a left-sided player. He's a right back playing left side central defence, and it looks like he was born to play it. Yeah. It just does not look in any sort of discomfort whatsoever, does it?
No, until you put him in front of goal when he had his chance.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, maybe we should start playing him up front for a bit. It's the only place he hasn't played that and in goal, isn't it? So
yeah, he still yet to score a professional goal from an attacking point of view. So that's going to come because he has looked dangerous. But yeah, I agree.
I love him.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. I love him to bits, man.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on? We'll have a 5-minute talk about the City game. Anything else you want to touch on for the McDonald's game? We've touched all my stats. Is there any other player? I think we've touched every player, to be honest with you, other than Ferguson, but I think he was solid without being outstanding. I think that's a fair shout, doesn't
he? Yeah, I think so. I think again that's his experience that's showing into it. I mean, he can have a good game without being exceptional, but then again, you can say that about everybody. I think everyone hasn't really had a game where they've looked absolutely dire. I mean, maybe Freddie when he missed from 3 yards away, but he makes up for it very easily. And I think that's just a testament to our squad. We can still have a decent game without being outstanding. I mean, look at Crew. I mean, it's football, but look at Crew. We played absolutely amazingly and drew 1-1. And then next game, I think we were under par, but we beat Wimbledon 3-0. I think it was. Yeah. So this squad, when everyone's at 100%, we are unplayable, to quote Paul Boyle in his interview. And and then to quote Barlaser, he thinks we're best in league, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah, we actually ended a bit better. I don't know Fleetwood had the moments, but they weren't that the way they played wasn't as good as the best we've got. If that sort of makes sense.
Yeah. I spoke to an MK fan as well, and he said we are the best team that he's seen at MK Stadium this season.
How many teams have said that so far? Portsmouth fans said it.
Yeah, Portsmouth said it. MK have said it.
Lincoln fans said it.
Yeah, Lincoln did.
There must be 6 or 7 teams that have said Rotherham are the best team we've played so far this season, and we're getting to the stage where 14 games in, where most teams have played each other now. We said we'd see where we are after the Sunderland game. We'd have a really good idea of where we were, where we are. This run of games from MK Dons, Wickham, and Pompey last week. Well, we've got 7 points at 9 so far.
Yep, 7 points, 7 goals, 1 conceded. Lovely.
Exactly. And Sunderland lost on Saturday, which will come on. We'll preview that on Thursday. Mick, anything else you want to touch on the McDonald's game?
No, it's fine. It's we've said all we needed to say. We've called referee what we think. We've called their manager what we think. Hopefully, I mean, we're going to get clipped sooner or later. Surely, I'm getting a bit bored with not being abused by opposition fans. Man, Sunderland are coming out this, so I'm sure we'll be able to find something to get clipped on a Sunderland podcast. Surely.
We'll probably get clips saying Will Greig's best player in League One and the like.
Yeah. This is why we're not sending you on one of their podcasts, mate, because you can't be trusted.
Yes. Come on, results.
Final point. Adam mentions it so that Chio have a moment with the lino. He'd never seen a lino. Told his lino exactly how it was. Yeah,
he put fear of God in lino as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So the Pizza Trophy is on Tuesday. We're not going to have much of a preview because I don't know who's playing for City, and number 2, I don't really care. I'm more interested in there's a couple of changes that will happen. Danny, Will Grigg will almost certainly start because he can't play on Saturday, so you may as well play him. Odofin will come in the central midfield. Sadly, will come in somewhere. Jake Hull will come in somewhere, and Victor will come in, obviously, in goal. Is there any other changes that you sort of think? Because the problem we've got is you're playing Reg and Harding. Probably you are risking injury in a game that don't matter because we're through.
Yeah, and maybe Woody will come in as well.
Yeah, fitness depending.
Yeah, and then maybe KO's as well.
To
give Smith a rest. I think it is turning into one of them competitions. At least it will do on Tuesday, where it's right. If you haven't played much minutes Tuesday, Saturday, you're in, nailed on. Grattan might get a bit of chance as well if
Bowler
contract permits it. Yeah, Bowler as well. So I think it will be a big change side, but I think that will also give them players who it feels wrong to call them fringe players because they're not, but players with less minutes will say that it gives them a chance to get even more minutes under the belt and to cause Warren headaches even more about who he's going to pick against Sunderland. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like a bit of a nothing game. I mean, it's against Man City's EDS.
Elite development squad, everybody. If that's what it's
elite development squad. And they lost to Doncaster.
Elite.
Yeah, elite. I mean, they only just beat bottom end of League 2. Anyway, so it is a nothing game against them because we're already through unless Donny scored about 17 goals. So I think it's just go out, show what you can do, and if we win, we win. If not, then I don't think anyone's really bothered because we're through anyway. But I hope we do because it'd be funny. I hope we score about 5 past them because it just goes to show that you shouldn't be in this competition, lads.
Yeah, that's true. Mick, I know you don't really care. I know we're not going. I'll be watching it at home because I'm not. After the what do we play when it was cold Scunny? I'm not putting myself through that coldness again for a game like that. But we'll pay to watch it at home. It is pointless, but you still want to win.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't care. I'm not interested. For me, I think you should have. I think Warney, Barker, and Ami should start. I know. Just yeah. Why not? Just make 11 changes. If the Premier League clubs are going to bring their teams into this, and then even then not going to pay it any respect, by playing kids. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't see why we should either. So I don't care. I don't care whether we win or lose, but I think there should be as many changes as he can make away from that first team, so that we don't sustain any injuries, because it will be so disappointing, for a key player not to be able to play in a big game against Sunderland because they've picked up an injury against a 12-year-old Man City player. You know what I mean? No, it's not. We just don't need it, do we?
No. Assuming we go through, which we will, the second round will at the earliest start the week commencing the 29th of November, which, if my maths is right, is the same week as the second round of the FA Cup. So there's some dates for your diary, just in case you're interested in them. I'm sure nobody is. Anything else you want to touch on that game, boys? There's not much to preview on it, really.
I saw that the club put out a call for academy players for the under 5, so I think we should play them.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
But just to put it on a serious note for a second, like Guardiola's talked about potentially putting B teams into the lower leagues to help with their development. There is this thing called the loan market, which does that anyway. And you see clubs like Bury go under, went into administration for 300,000. That's like someone's week wages at Man City. If you're so hell-bent on all the youth development, right, you could send them to Bury when they were still active, or to whoever, and say, don't worry about the wages, you get some quality out of your players and we'll get them experience. It's like, that's the thing that grates me about the Premier League. Like, and it's very easy to say as a League One club fan, but you look at clubs in the Premier League, they have very little respect for the lower league teams, unless and even the local ones. The only exception, I think, was when we went into administration and Sheffield United said to us, don't matter about paying them players' wages, you just keep going and then you can have some players. Why can't Man United and Man City do something like that? Why can't they help out Wigan, Accrington, whoever who's in Greater Manchester, and help them out? Oh, because they're ours and we like to nurture them and develop them as their own thing. Oh, we want B team in your league. Nah, go away with it. Loan them out. Rant over. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Mick?
Yeah, 100%. There's no else to say about it. We've said all there is to say about this shower.
Yeah, the good thing from my point of view is we're not losing our club captain to a non-league team. You know what I mean? It's not seeing Bolton losing to Stockport County, their club captain. No transfer window, obviously, in the National League. Consider ourselves lucky that we're not in that situation.
Bit more to that, isn't there? There's a bit more to that.
It has to be.
Yeah. A couple of comments to wrap up. One, Carl Scott says he wouldn't risk anybody on Tuesday in terms of injuries before Saturday. Ardek agrees with Danny. PL teams should not be allowed to buy up all the young talent because they can. And Ryan Swell's back with us. Sorry if you already mentioned it, but for Josh Vickers to be thrown in against two teams in the top 6, he has been fantastic, solid keeper, and takes the pressure off the defence. Yeah. To be fair to him, and I know he's part of this, he hasn't been tested really, but that's a credit to him as well. He's part of that defensive unit that he's not been tested for, so he might be tested next week. So we'll finish there. So thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to YouTube and on Facebook, Twitter, and iTunes as well. If you're just audio listening, please subscribe to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating if you can, because that means a lot to us. We would really appreciate it. We'll be back on Thursday night live on YouTube, Friday morning for the audio, where we'll be having a preview of the second full house of the season as Sunderland comes to town. Well, fullish house, bear in mind the restrictions. As Sunderland come to town no skirting around it. It's a huge game for both teams. So yeah, we'll be back then. We'll have a brief review of the Man City game as well. And well, possibly. Mick, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you on Thursday.
Yeah, man.
Danny, it's always a pleasure, and I'll see you Thursday as well, mate.
Yep, see you on Thursday, and take care, everybody.
It's been a pleasure, guys. See you soon.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie shoot. Can Freddie shot? Unbelievable! Apologies to the neighbours.